Explain how you can determine the zeros of a function using the quadratic formula. Well, zeros are the same thing as roots, so you just plug in a, b, and c. So consider the function f of x is equal to 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Use the quadratic formula to determine the zeros of the function. What do you notice? A is going to be 4, b is going to be negative 12, and c is equal to positive 9. So plugging those in appropriately, you're going to have x is equal to, well, negative 12, of course, is going to be replacing b, 4 replacing a, and 9 replacing c, all divided by, of course, 2 times 4. Working this one out, what you're going to have is negative times a negative, that's going to be a positive 12, plus or minus negative 12 squared is going to be a positive this time around. It's going to be 144. And you've got negative 4 times 9. That's going to be negative 144. And this is going to be all over 8. You'll notice here, this actually reduces down, so you end up with the square root of 0. So 12 plus or minus 0 over 8. Big thing. This, of course, doesn't really mean anything, so you're only going to have one root, which is a 3 over 2. This makes sense if you graphed it. You're going to have a parabola where the parabola sits right on the x-axis, and it's going to sit right at 3 over 2. So consider the function g of x is equal to 2x squared minus 5x plus 10. So we have to explain what happens when you put this one into the quadratic formula. Here are your values. A is going to equal 2, b is equal to negative 5, and c is equal to 10. So here's your equation. Wherever we see b, we're going to replace it with a negative 5 plus or minus, and it's going to be negative 5 squared minus 4 times, well, a was 2, and c was 10. Okay, all over 2 times 2. So working this one out, negative times negative, that's going to be a positive 5, plus or minus, well, this here underneath the brackets is going to be, well, negative 5 squared is 25. Then you have a negative 4 times 2 times 10, which is going to be negative 80. And on the bottom, it's going to be 4. When you subtract everything underneath the square root sign, you're going to have 5 plus or minus the square root of 55 minus 55 all over 4. Now we have a big problem here. If you notice, you can't have the square root of a negative number. So in this case, you are not going to have any roots. If you drew this, it would make a little bit more sense. Essentially, you're going to have a parabola that doesn't even touch the x-axis at all.